So if you were in certain parts of the UK yesterday, you may have been terribly burned. British bakes as temperatures pass 40 degrees for the first time in freaking history. Okay, now while other European nations also swelter, I'm about to show you some pretty bad sunburns that some UK people have actually just got. Wow. If you don't want to see that, look away, all right? But basically, this is what some of the sunburns look like from recent UK sun burning situations. I had to look away for a second there. Anyway, we're talking about, well, I wanted to get to the bottom of this. Why is the UK so underprepared for heat waves? Why are a lot of people succumbing? Unfortunately, some people die. A lot of people, unfortunately, are dying in the UK. The majority being, at the moment, the England area. Okay, a lot of people aren't prepared, aren't built for this massive heat wave. UK officials declare major incident as fire burns outside London amid historic heat wave. There's pieces of infrastructure in the UK right now that are literally burning. Houses are burning, fields are burning. I think in France, I saw on the news tonight. Fucking terrible situation. But obviously, the UK, being different from where I live in Australia, in Australia, as you can imagine, has a lot of heat waves. Brits come to Australia for the sun and for the surf, right? Maybe you guys don't need to come anymore, so you British backpackers can not be murdered by our serial killers, and you guys can just stay where you are because you have the sun now. That'd be good. Yeah? All right. But if you are living in the UK, I wanted to get to the bottom of this. Why are some people suffering so badly and a lot of people dying? Why is there an actual problem in this country? I wanted to get to the bottom of this, and I wanted to also talk about the London Underground, the tube system, the oldest, obviously, as most people know, the oldest underground train system anywhere on Earth, right? So it gets pretty packed in London. And unfortunately, the London Underground, for the most part, doesn't have air conditioning. Now, obviously, there are some newer trains, the S-Stock trains, I'll get into that in a second, that have air conditioning right now. Also, the new brand new train line that just opened in England, London, the tube, the Crossrail, the Elizabeth line. Okay, it'll always be Crossrail, by the way. Of course, they have the Aircon now as well, right? But I wanted to get to the bottom of this. Why is Britain unravels in a heat wave? Why is Britain dealing with this problem so much? One more thing I wanted to quickly show you. Aussie in London. So this is an Australian living in London, right? It's 30 degrees at 9 a.m. This UK heat wave isn't a joke this time. Other times us Australians have mocked you guys, the English, for, oh, it's hot. 31 degrees. Come on, mate. I've lived through 45-degree heat where I live, okay, a few times. That was terrible. Terrible, okay? But this one does not seem to be a joke. This is obviously the real deal, right? How many air conditioners are actually in the UK? I wanted to talk about that, right? Don't travel unless you have to. So London is warned with several delays already all throughout the tube network, okay? So this is the question I had to ask earlier because I didn't know the answer, obviously. But now, hopefully, we can get to the bottom of the situation. Why are air conditioning units so uncommon in the UK? A quick little read from this website if you guys are interested. All right, there we go. So why are the AC units so uncommon in the UK? Well, according to a study in 2008, just 0.5, it's now 5% of the UK has aircon. Only 5, I'm pretty sure, updating the statistics. But back then when this thing came out, it was only 0.5 of UK homes had any form of built-in air conditioning. Now, for comparison, this is the interesting bit, right? For comparison, in the US, more than 100 million homes have some form of ACU. This is down to a few key factors. Now, when I first quickly read this, I read a little bit and I thought that's perfect for this. When I first read this, I was like, wow. Get ready, all right? Genuinely, homes within the UK are far older than those in the US. I guess it makes sense in some certain areas, right? Quite a few homes have been standing since before America was even founded. Wow. That's pretty interesting. I wasn't expecting that, but when I got it, when I first read it, I mean, I'm still kind of shocked when I read it now. That's pretty shocking, right? True, I guess, as well. With air conditioning units being a relatively new invention, most UK homes predate their creation. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. That's funny. I don't know why it's funny, but it kind of is. Anyway, along those same lines, most UK homes are built from brick, featuring either no wall cavities or very small ones. These already contain your pre-existing hot water electrical systems, making installation very difficult, as you can imagine, right? Our retrofitted systems are therefore difficult and costly, ranging from £2,000 to upwards of 5 figures, which is terrible, right? As well as this, the UK is generally cooler for most of the year, as we all kind of know, right? It's usually cool. England and the UK is kind of known for raining all the time, right? You always see a movie or a TV show, and they always depict it as raining because I'm guessing it rains there all the time. I mean, I've been there for about a month with my mum in 2017. I made heaps and heaps of travel videos in the UK and in the tube on my channel 1 YouTube channel, but of course this is number 2, right? But going back to this, you know, I do have experience there, right? As well as this, the UK is generally cooler for most of the year. Our climate means that most on air conditioning units would get up to 3 months of use per year. Now, for their cost, you would likely not see a return on your investment for many years. True. But you're going to want to get a freaking air conditioning that has reverse cycle, obviously. As energy efficient as possible, I might add, because, you know, energy efficiency is key. Otherwise, you're going to be paying the terrible freaking rates over there. I've heard of some stories in England, just England alone. People are either deciding, am I going to eat this month or am I going to stay warm this month? People would obviously rather eat, right? So they completely shut off all the heating elements in their house. Terrible situation. The electricity price crisis around the world, most likely, but let's just focus on the England area. It's pretty terrible right now. People are literally choosing to go be freezing cold in their home, in their house when it's snowing, and that way they can eat. So there's no nasty power bills. It's a terrible situation. I don't know what the outcome is, but I mean, nuclear fusion. We obviously need to put more electricity into the grid to lower the prices, because terrible, right? More windmills, more wave energy, obviously solar panels, but then again, solar panels, yes, but England won't be as efficient as other countries because it's raining, cloudy, all, you know, most of the time, half the time. I don't know what the thing is, but there we go with that, right? Now, I wanted to quickly say this. When was Aircon first introduced to the London Underground? Because when I first read this, probably a few years ago now, because I actually looked into this a little while ago, I was kind of shocked. Because in Australia, where it's really, really hot, right, we've had air conditioning on trains from late 1970, I'm pretty sure. Of course, 2010, 2015, we still had a lot of trains that didn't have aircon, but all new trains from the 1970s onwards were getting built with aircon, right? Oh no, not for England though. England was an absolute no-no when it comes to this situation. Let me just quickly show you this, right? When was aircon first introduced for the London Underground? We're reading from this website if you are interested. So London's tube network began to operate in 1863, which is, wow, right? Absolutely an old ass network, making it the world's oldest underground railway. But it took 146 years to find a way of keeping the carriages climate comfortable. Cool, okay? Aircon. Whatever the weather may be. Now, the first air-conditioned train finally arrived in 2009 at a depot in northwest London, known as the S8 stock. Now, this only became a huge thing on certain lines, such as Well, these ones there, if you guys want to read, pretty sure it was tested on. Okay, here we go. Between Watford, Wembley Park, air conditioner trains were also launched on the Metropolitan line from September 2010, I should say. So there's only a certain few lines, such as the Circle line, the Hammersmith line kind of thing, that has those trains. Let me just quickly show you those trains now. This is the actual train that we're talking about. The London Underground S7 and S8 stock trains. My birds are in the corner of my studio and they're being very loud. I apologise in advance. But these are the trains that are somewhat new. From 2009, mostly 10 and 11 onwards is when they started to really... Sunburn is when they started to really show the air conditioning on the line, right? But why hasn't all the other trains got aircon now? Well, let me just quickly show you. I mean, picture is worth 1,000 words, and this picture right here is basically it. London is a product of its age, all right, in many ways. That tube is tiny, hence why they have a tiny train, hence why the place is called the Tube, right? The network's called the Tube. They are pretty much unable to fit an aircon on most of the underground network, and it probably won't change for a long time. Now, they may introduce aircon into certain underground stations. I think they are actually doing that right now. They are definitely introducing aircon into certain underground stations. But at the end of the day, when the tube trains look like this, I mean, that's not the S stock, and that's not the Piccadilly. I don't think that's the Piccadilly line, but it's one of the biggish / small trains. If I'm making any sense for you Londoners, I know. But anyway, probably not. This is one of the smallish / biggish trains that you guys have. Is it this one? I'm going back to that one again for some reason. Where are we? Is it that one? I don't know, maybe. But I know the Piccadilly line is absolutely tiny. Piccadilly line's my favourite line, actually. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what the answer is. But I think what the answer will have to be is that they'll have to start introducing aircon to the stations, and hoping that the system does become a lot cooler in the trains, because the stations are cool. It's going to be very inefficient because, as you can imagine, the trains are coming every 30 seconds to a minute, blowing all that cold air through the tunnels, and it's not the best situation. But they're not going to be getting aircon on the trains at any point in time very soon. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah, no wonder why you Brits come to Australia, because we have great air conditioning and great sun. That was just a quick little talk about that. Hey, we're on this channel, number 2 and number 1 right there. If you found this interesting or not, just give us a like and sub anyway, because why not, right? On those social medias, at Tallboy Gareth, like and subscribe. See you guys tomorrow. We talk about things every day, four times a day at least, four times a week, I should say. I'm going to go now. See ya.